The sun rose over the vast wild prairie, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The endless horizon stretched out like a canvas, dotted with tall grasses that swayed gently in the wind. This land was not just beautiful. It was a place shrouded in mystery. Locals often whispered about an extraordinary phenomenon known as prairie lightning. According to legend, this rare lightning could be captured in a bottle, holding the power of storms and secrets within. Farmers and travelers alike spoke of the electrifying energy that danced through the air during thunderstorms. Some believed that those brave enough to harness this power could gain wisdom or even see into the future. Many tales were shared around campfires, where stories of brave souls who tried to trap the lightning sparked both excitement and fear. As shadows grew long and night fell upon the prairie, the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds overhead. The vastness of the night sky made it easy for imagination to run wild. It was said that if one listened closely, they could hear whispers carried by the wind, echoes of old spirits who once roamed these lands. In this enchanting setting, our story begins, where a curious doctor was about to uncover the truth behind prairie lightning, forever changing the fate of those who dared to dream beyond the ordinary. In the heart of this vibrant prairie lived Dr. Samuel Bennett, a physician known not only for his medical skills, but also for his unyielding belief in the supernatural. With his tousled hair and keen, curious eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, Dr. Bennett was often seen wandering the fields, sketchbook in one hand and a small vial in the other. He believed that the prairie held secrets waiting to be uncovered. Dr. Bennett had heard countless tales from townsfolk about prairie lightning, each story more fascinating than the last. He was particularly captivated by the idea that those who could capture this rare energy could gain insight into the world beyond what they could see. While many dismissed these notions as mere folklore, he knew there was more to discover. After long days of treating patients, he would sit by the fire with fellow locals, listening intently as they spoke of brave souls who had tried to bottle the lightning but had faced unimaginable consequences. Night after night, the allure of mystery drew him deeper into these stories, fanning the flames of his curiosity. Determined to unveil the truth about prairie lightning, Dr. Bennett prepared himself for an adventure that would test not only his scientific knowledge, but also his belief in what lay beyond human understanding. He felt that this journey might lead him to a new reality, a place where science and myth entwined in remarkable ways. One fateful evening, just after a fierce thunderstorm swept across the prairie, Dr. Bennett stepped outside to marvel at the remnants of nature's display. The air was charged with electricity, and the last echoes of thunder rumbled in the distance. As he wandered deeper into the fields, he noticed a peculiar glow shimmering in the grass, a vibrant blue light that flickered and danced like a firefly. Intrigued, Dr. Bennett hurried closer. He recalled tales from the townsfolk about capturing prairie lightning and felt a rush of excitement surge through him. With his heart racing, he reached into his satchel for the small vial he always carried, a tool meant for collecting samples from plants and minerals. As he approached the glowing light, he realized this was his moment to combine his scientific knowledge with local legend. With careful precision, Dr. Bennett aimed the vial at the flickering glow. To his astonishment, as the vial made contact with the light, the glow surged into it, filling it with an otherworldly energy. The vial throbbed in his hand, pulsating like a tiny heart, as if it contained a piece of the storm itself. In that instant, Dr. Bennett knew he had captured something extraordinary. He felt a mix of awe and fear as he realized he needed to understand this powerful energy before sharing it with anyone. The adventure he sought had begun, mixing science and myth in ways he had only dreamed of before. Word of Dr. Bennett's remarkable discovery spread quickly through the prairie towns, reaching the ears of a powerful rail baron named Charles Sinclair. With his slicked-back hair and a sharp suit that spoke to his wealth, Sinclair was a man who thrived on ambition and success. He owned miles of railroads and controlled important trade routes, making him one of the most influential figures in the region. As he lounged in his opulent office, surrounded by maps and gold trinkets, Sinclair couldn't help but feel intrigued by the stories about the doctor and his bottled prairie lightning. He had always craved more than just riches. He wanted prestige and power that no one else could match. The thought of harnessing the energy of prairie lightning thrilled him, igniting his imagination with visions of guiding his trains to unrivaled speed or uncovering secrets that could shape his empire. Sinclair wasted no time. He summoned his closest advisors and concocted a plan to meet with Dr. Bennett. He envisioned presenting himself as a benefactor who would fund further research in exchange for a share of the findings. Little did he know, his greed and desire for control would lead him down a path intertwined with the very forces of nature that Dr. Bennett had only begun to understand. The meeting between these two strong-willed men would change both their fates forever. After a tense meeting with Dr. Bennett, where they discussed the potential of prairie lightning, Charles Sinclair became consumed by the idea of harnessing this mysterious energy. The doctor shared stories of the incredible power contained within the vial and how it could change everything. In Sinclair's mind, drinking the bottled lightning was not just an act of curiosity but a bold step toward absolute control over his trains and his fortune. One night, driven by ambition and impatience, Sinclair decided to take matters into his own hands. He summoned a lavish gathering at his estate, inviting influential figures from the railroad industry to witness his latest venture. With a flourish, he presented the vial filled with the glowing blue liquid to the guests. This, he declared with fervor, is the key to unlocking a new era for rail travel. As whispers of excitement filled the room, Sinclair raised the vial to his lips, feeling the weight of all his dreams resting on this single moment. He believed that by drinking it, he would gain unmatched speed for his trains and perhaps even foresight into the future of his empire. With a decisive gulp, he drank deep from the vial, unaware of the storm brewing within him and the supernatural forces he had just unleashed. As the first rays of dawn broke the horizon after Sinclair's bold drink, he boarded his locomotive with a sense of exhilaration and dread. Initially, he felt an electric thrill coursing through his veins, sparking excitement as the engine roared to life. However, as the train chugged down the tracks, everything began to shift. The lush prairies outside blurred around him, and an unearthly glow began to illuminate the train car, bathing it in hues of blue and silver. Suddenly, visions danced before his eyes, ghostly figures appearing alongside the train, their faces indistinct yet filled with purpose. They were the spirits of railroad workers and travelers long gone, guiding him along the tracks with an eerie sense of wisdom. Sinclair blinked in disbelief as the apparitions floated just outside the window, their hands gesturing as if directing him to a fate unseen. While he initially felt a rush of power, a growing sense of anxiety clawed at him. He could hear whispers melding with the sound of the train, a cacophony of voices sharing secrets of the land and its history. The sensations were overwhelming. He felt both invincible and vulnerable all at once. The love of control he so craved was being challenged. He realized that he was not merely harnessing power but becoming part of something far grander and more mysterious than he had ever imagined. As the train hurtled down the tracks, the atmosphere inside the locomotive shifted dramatically. The crew, initially excited about the speed and efficiency of their journey, began to notice strange occurrences. Mysterious figures appeared in the periphery of their vision, flickering like candlelight. These ghostly apparitions floated just outside the windows, clad in worn work clothes from a bygone era, their faces a blend of determination and peaceful resignation. The passengers, too, were soon caught up in the surreal experience. Their expressions shifted from curiosity to awe, then to fear as they witnessed the ethereal figures guiding the train along its path. Some passengers gasped and pointed, while others clutched their loved ones, unsure whether to embrace the wonder or flee in terror. The air crackled not just with electricity but with the palpable tension of the unknown. Whispers filled the air, echoing stories of the past, the struggles and triumphs of those who had traveled these tracks long before them. The ghostly figures seemed to communicate a sense of purpose, as if they were ensuring that Sinclair's train ran safely through their territory. However, beneath the awe lay an undercurrent of fear. Was this guidance a blessing or a warning? The crew and passengers couldn't shake the feeling that they were now part of something larger, an ancient narrative intertwining their fates with those who once traversed these lands. As days turned into weeks, Charles Sinclair quickly recognized the impact of the prairie lightning on his business. The trains he operated became faster and more efficient than ever before, gliding smoothly along the tracks as if guided by an unseen force. Profits soared, and he reveled in newfound status among his peers, often boasting about his unparalleled success. However, this remarkable power came with unexpected consequences. Each time Sinclair rode the train, the ghostly figures returned, whispering warnings that he could hardly understand. The more he relied on their guidance, the more he felt his grip on reality slipping. His nights were plagued by haunting dreams of past railroad disasters and the faces of those long gone, their eyes filled with sorrow and regret. Soon enough, the crew grew uneasy, noting strange occurrences on board. Freight shipments went missing inexplicably, and passengers complained of unsettling sensations during their journeys. Rumors spread that Sinclair's trains were cursed, drawing unwanted attention from rival barons eager to expose his secret. Despite the benefits of speed and efficiency, Sinclair found himself embroiled in a web of supernatural interference that threatened to unravel everything he had built. The very forces he sought to control began to push back against him, forcing him to confront the reality that power borrowed from the unknown often comes at a steep price. Balancing his ambition with respect for these otherworldly influences became increasingly difficult as he struggled to maintain control over his empire. As the weeks went by, the tension surrounding Sinclair's operations escalated. Rival barons, sensing his growing influence and profitable success, began to conspire against him. They whispered rumors of curses and misfortune aboard his trains, attempting to drive a wedge between him and the townsfolk who had once supported him. Driven by his greed and ambition, Sinclair brushed aside their warnings and continued to push forward, convinced that he could manage the supernatural forces he had unleashed. Yet the whispers of caution from ghostly figures began to resonate in his mind. With each passing day, he felt more haunted by their presence, their silent admonishments echoing the wisdom of respecting nature's mysteries. Deep down, he knew he was crossing boundaries that were best left unchallenged. But the allure of controlling the lightning's power dulled his senses, making him blind to the dangers that lay ahead. In a particularly heated confrontation with rival barons, Sinclair felt compelled to demonstrate his newfound abilities. He boasted of unmatched speed and efficiency, insisting that his empire was untouchable. However, as he spoke, dark clouds gathered overhead, and thunder rumbled in the distance, a stark reminder of nature's power when disrespected. The clash between his insatiable greed and the wisdom offered by the spirits became increasingly evident. He was treading a perilous path where hubris would surely lead to downfall if he didn't heed their warnings soon. The sun began to set on the horizon, casting a deep orange glow as Charles Sinclair prepared for the largest freight run his trains had ever seen. Ambition pulsed through him, fueled by the belief that he could outrun any threat with the power of prairie lightning on his side. However, as he climbed aboard his engine, a chill ran down his spine. The ghostly figures appeared again, more vivid and insistent than ever before, swirling around him in a desperate dance. With each clack of the train's wheels on the tracks, Sinclair felt a growing rift within himself. The whispers intensified, threading through the air like a storm warning, urging him to remember humility and respect for the forces at play. He could sense dread thickening in his gut while excited cheers erupted from crew members eager for success. The tension between desire and caution became tangible. As the train surged forward into a darkened tunnel, Sinclair faced a choice: continue down this reckless path toward glory or heed the spectral warnings that beckoned him towards safer shores. He could already see flickering visions of danger ahead, collisions and derailments haunting his thoughts like shadows. Moments from disaster flashed before him, signaling that greed's intoxication would lead to ruin. In a breathless instant, reality converged on his decision. Embrace power or listen to those who understood nature's unimaginable depth and wisdom. In the aftermath of that fateful night, the prairie began to heal, and so did its people. Dr. Samuel Bennett, having witnessed the chaos brought on by human ambition colliding with nature's mysteries, became a champion for respecting the land and its legends. He dedicated his practice to educating others about the importance of balance, encouraging them to appreciate the wonders of the natural world without seeking to control it. The stories of prairie lightning transformed from mere folklore into vital lessons about humility and coexistence. As for Charles Sinclair, the once mighty rail baron faced the consequences of his choices. After his near-catastrophic experience, he reevaluated his life and ambitions. The ghostly figures had not only guided him but had also imparted a profound understanding of the dangers of unchecked greed. Sinclair stepped back from his empire, choosing instead to honor the spirits that had haunted him. He became an advocate for sustainable practices in the railroad industry, emphasizing safety over speed and innovation over profit. Both men's journeys reflect the intricate dance between ambition and wisdom, showcasing how respect for nature's mysteries can lead to greater fulfillment than mere power. In their own ways, they learned that true strength lies not in domination but in harmony with the world around them, a lesson that resonated throughout the prairie for generations to come.